zone. He's got Simpkins caught in for the touchdown. Deshawn Simpkins with the snag.
Looking left to Sims Marshall. Home run down for Jalen Marshall. He's got a touchdown.
And we're about set to go here in this one, along with Trace Fowler. I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here for the Game of the Year here on Chatterbox Live. Should be a good one. We'll dispense with some of the pre-game pleasantries and get right to the game. It'll be a kickoff. It'll be Fairfield to have possessions at start. They'll go left to right as you're seeing it on your screen. So we're just about set to go here in this one. A great one. It's a GMC championship game. You couldn't have scheduled this or planned this any more perfectly. And away we go. It's an end-over-end kick taken at the 16. The outman takes it at the 20, 25, and out of bounds at the 30, and here we go. 1st and 10 for Fairfield, and good afternoon, Trace.
That's right. Run around here with my head cut off a little bit, Jeff, but the pregame show was worth it, man. Those students were they were ready to go, as you can probably see. I'm sure they'll let you know if Fairfield can get something stirring here early, but it's one of those situations where it's the big bad bully, you know, and how long they've been running this league in the Colerain Cardinals. It's one of those situations where, truthfully, if you put me to it, I think the Fairfield Indians are the better team, but there's something to be said about getting over the hurdle and playing the Cardinals.
Deshawn McClain is the odds-on favorite, obviously, to be the GMC Player of the Year. He's also a candidate, and he'll get the carry off right tackle, while bouncing it outside, and a good job for Colerain to stop them after a 3-yard gain. The first, some of the business here, the quarterback tonight here, first for Fairfield, 6'2", 195-pound senior, is Swaye Ellis. 67 for 91 passing this year for 966 yards, 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So after a gain of 4 for McClain, who has been outstanding to start off this year, it's 2nd down and 6 with 11:20 left to go here in this opening quarter, just underway here on the near hash mark. And to give McClain trying to find something up the middle and nowhere to be found, just across the 35 to the 36-yard line to bring up 3rd down. Corleone on the tackle. Dante Corleone for the Colerain Cardinals. The head coaches tonight, Jason Krause in his 9th year with the Indians, 55-39, his 24th year overall. And in his first year for the Cardinals, it's Sean Cutright, 8-1. 3rd and 5. We're just underway here in Fairfield. A sold-out crowd tonight. Here in a capacity crowd of 4,400. Quarterback keeping. He has the first down across the 40 and out to the 42-yard line. Needed 5, got 6.
Yeah, incredibly important situation right there to try to move the chains. Your opening possession. Keep the ball for a little while. Last thing you want to do is give it right to the Cardinals from the start and allow them to choose some clock on the ground. So little technical difficulties on our end right now, but we are going to figure it out here soon.
That's the 90th carry this year for Swaye Ellis. He came in with 367 yards on the ground. He's the 2nd leading rusher on this team. 1st and 10, a new set of downs for Fairfield. Ellis calls for it. He'll fake and then now hand it off on a jet sweep out to the far side. It's number 19, Jaden Mays, 5'10", 170-pound junior.
A little mixing it up there, you know, using Jutan as a little bit of a decoy.
Mays obviously touched the ball. They will have a lot of their wideouts or wingbacks touch the ball in this offensive set. We did mention the focus is going to be on number 9, and that's Deshawn McClain. He comes in with 189 carries for 1,737 yards. That is a GMC record back to 2004. Mays in motion, and the quarterback throwing. It is complete out at the 47-yard line. Move the chains.
Yeah, good little ball there. That's one thing that's going to happen tonight. They're going to have to push the envelope by throwing the ball. I think both sides are going to probably have to do that. There's 2 good defenses, 1 and 2 in the league. It's going to be a situation, though, at some point, one of those jet sweeps or Jutan up the middle is going to have to loosen the load there and allow them to have some more opportunities downfield from the throwing standpoint.
We already see trips to the near side And a single out to the far side, looks like Mays. McClain in the backfield with Ellis. Long count. And the give, off right tackle, and here comes McClain out to the 41-yard line to pick up a 3.
Deshawn McClain keeps it, brought down this time by number 2, Jalen Thomas.
Jalen Thomas on the stop for Colerain. Second down coming up. So we are looking at the 2 best teams in the conference, 1 and 2. Undefeated Fairfield, 9-0, 7-0 in conference. Likewise, 7-0 in conference for the Cardinals. However, they are 8-1. A 7-point loss in week 2 to St. X has been their only blemish. 8:16 left to go here in this opening quarter. No score. We're just underway here in Fairfield. A lot of motion, and now we have Twins in the backfield, and the give coming. It looks like Mays across the 40 to the 35 and inside the 35 for a first down.
Good job by Jaden Mays right there, making one guy miss and getting an extra 5-6 yards, and that's going to add up through the night if you're able to get yards after contact. It's one of the things that Fairfield hopes to do here against this Colerain Cardinal defense.
Mays coming in with just about 10 yards a carry in limited play as a spot guy coming around on the jet sweep. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line with 7:45 left to go in this opening quarter. Here's McClain with it. And now another jet sweep coming. Mays again out to the 31-yard line. A pickup of maybe 1 before he's pushed back. And a whole host of them from the Cardinals. Sean Williamson there to clean it up for the Cardinals.
Cardinals, led by number 2, Jalen Thomas. And number 40, L.T. Johnson.
They've been waiting for this game, seemingly for weeks. This has been a collision course game, as it's been 1 and 2, as we saw Colerain emerge throughout the season after their loss to St. X. They've pulled off 7 in a row, and Fairfield has been money from the beginning. Here's McClain, off left tackle, into the middle, into the secondary, out to the 25-yard line, a pickup of 5.
Number 8, Xander Kendall with the first contact.
Xander Kendall on the tackle, 5'11", 220, a junior linebacker for Colerain. And coming up is the 9th play of this drive with 6:38 left to play here in this opening quarter. No score here in Fairfield. Again, a sold-out house tonight. Capacity is 4,400. As I understand it, we had 4,500 pre-sale tickets that were sold tonight. Motioning to the left is Phoenix Porter, and now the fake give and the inside give. It goes to McClain. He's close to the first down before getting pushed back.
I don't know if he got there. Now this is the first big question of the night, really, is a situation where do you want to try to push the envelope here and go quick?
Number 2, Jalen Thomas leads the Colerain defense on that one.
Well, they're begging for the first down. I think it's short.
For the Indians.
4th and 1. Ball's right around the 24-yard line. They need, let's see what they need. They need the 22nd. So actually the ball's right around the 23, just outside the 23-yard line. So it's a long one, and here we go. First big play of the game. Twins to the far side, a tight formation, and a wing back to the right, and we'll have a timeout. Timeout charged to Fairfield with 5:32 left to go in this opening quarter. No score. So far it's been a lot of punching up the middle for McClain and company, and right now Colerain's answering.
Yeah, there was a few times there where Jaden Mays bounced outside and made a man miss and got a few yards, and that was pivotal when it comes to moving the chains tonight. It's a situation where they're going to load the box. You know, that's both. I think both sides are going to load the box and force the other team perhaps try to hit them down the middle with the pass or outside with a pass. And the question really comes down to whether or not you can control the line of scrimmage. I mean, we've talked about this week in and week out, and football is as complicated as it can be. It's relatively simple at the end of the day. Can you block? Can you tackle? And so far, what is very optimistic if you're an Indian fan is they have controlled the line of scrimmage and they have been able to get a push and move the ball when Colerain stacked the box.
Press box.
By the way, as an aside tonight, senior night. Obviously, week 10 of the season, you would expect a senior night to be at any stadium that's being played, so that's the case here in Fairfield. 4th and 1 as they break the huddle. Ball just outside the 23-yard line. They need the 22 to move the chains. Twins to the far side, And McLean's in the backfield with Ellis. A long count, and they stack the middle, Colerain does. They fake the sweep to the right, Thomas. And now the quarterback keeping. He's got an opening out to the 20, to the 15, and a first down.
Wow. Using, like, again, Jutan a little bit of a decoy. So I was able to bounce outside and really didn't have anybody in front of him, and a good call by Kraus there as the Indians move the chains.
They needed one. They got 8 on the play. 5:21 left to play here in this opening quarter. No score. But for the first time, the Indians are in the red zone. They put Mays out as a wideout to the left. Ellis calling for the ball. Looks like Thomas with it off the wingback slot and has nowhere to go. Might have lost a yard.
Thomas gets the carry.
Tackle there by Ken Willis out of his defensive back spot for Colerain. So a long drive to be sure to open things up in quarter number 1. In fact, this is play number 13 of the drive. Drive that started at the Fairfield 31-yard line. 2nd and 10. The ball's on the near hash mark at the 15-yard line. Ellis calling for it. Long count, deep drop with time, looking left, looking, scrambling, throwing. It is incomplete. No, picked off.
Picked off.
By Colerain, and coming back the other way out to the 30 to the 35-yard line with 4:17 left to play in this opening quarter and a first turnover of this ball game.
Yeah, and Coach Kraus mentioned before the game, one thing that you can't do against these Cardinals is turn the ball over, and it was a situation where if you hesitate, it's too late. And Ellis hesitated just a bit there, and by that time it allowed the defender get in the lane to be able to jump the pass, and that's exactly what the Cardinals wanted as they bend, but they didn't break. And that's something that the Cardinals defense has done all year long. You know, they give up yardages between the 20s. But once they get inside the red zone, they have stiff in their back, and they did it again.
So 1st and 10 coming up for Colerain. They'll spot the ball out at the 27-yard line, Fishy on the return. So Ellis did have all day to throw, and then he threw into traffic once he had an opening. So that was tough sledding there for the home team. And now we'll see what the visiting Colerain Cardinals do, and the tailback is met right at the line.
That was maybe one of the hardest hits we've seen all year.
Trying to see if that was Abdul Wahid. It was. Hamza Abdul Wahid, 5'6", 175-pound senior. He's been installed as the fullback in this offense the last couple of weeks.
Picked up the pace quite considerably last week, and obviously we'll see what that in stores for tonight, but certainly an option that they are looking for.
The quarterback is Freddie Johnson. Under center in the wing tee, and he'll keep off the right side and moving out to the sideline, and a great bit of pursuit by Fairfield, and we've got a flag coming in at the end of the play. While we sort it out, Freddie Johnson on the season, 21 for 46 passing for 391 yards. He has 4 touchdowns on the season, no interceptions, and a rating of 145.7. The referee tonight is Dan Hill. And it's a personal foul. Well, from the looks of it, a late hit at the end of the play, but if it means anything else, it's a 1st and 10 coming on up for Colerain. They spot the ball at the 45-yard line on the far hash mark with 3:33 frozen on the clock. No score here in the opening minutes of this one. The quarterback ducking under center, it's Johnson. Johnson will keep off the right side. Now flushed out, rolling, throwing, and incomplete.
It's a great job right there.
Incomplete. Looking for Lawson Sandusky, but he threw into double team while in traffic.
Yeah, it was a situation where he seen a receiver and he wasn't looking to make a completion. He just wanted to get rid of it, make sure that he didn't lose the yardage, because if there's one thing that can stop a triple option team is getting behind the chains. And 2nd and 10 is a whole lot better than obviously 2nd and 16, which pretty much takes him out of this drive. So a good job right there of getting rid of the ball.
2nd and 10. Johnson ducking in under center. And Abdul Wahid for 1. Right into the teeth of that defense. Maybe 1.
Yeah, that has not been there tonight quite yet. But if you're a triple option team, you got to continue to keep them honest and run that dive until we talk about it over and over again. It gets stopped, but then the next thing you know, it breaks right up the middle for 60 yards for a touchdown. So I don't expect them to go away from that, even though they haven't had success.
And Fairfield this year has a big defensive line. Brandon Smith and L.J. France in particular. 3rd and 9. And they motion it back into the backfield. Sandusky. Now he repositions out at the wing. Single wide out to the near side, Isaiah Myers. And now we got a stoppage in play. Colerain calls a timeout, their first of this half, with 2:41 left to play here in this opening quarter. So a little bit of tit for tat here. We saw the home team in Fairfield go for a timeout to see if they would go for it on 4th and 1. They did convert, but they were stalled on the interception and the return back. Here you have a similar 3rd down and 9 play, but with a big yardage. You almost have to think pass, but yeah. Right now, that front line, that big front 7 for Fairfield has been incredible to start the ball game.
Yeah, they haven't budged a bit. And the situation that you mentioned, we talked about just a minute ago, getting behind the chains. The last thing you want to do as a triple option team is get to where it's a 3rd and 9. You know, prefer to get your 3 yards, and they used to call it a cloud of dust. I don't know if they call it that anymore. I assume it's a cloud of rubber. Seems the way as so many turf fields. It's one thing, though, the turf fields, man, I tell you what, it's the way to go, because yesterday it was pouring rain, and we went to a few places, and they were all practicing. So
3rd and 9 as they come out of the timeout. Wideouts on each side. Back to pass to the quarterback. Throwing, and it is caught out at the 44-yard line. That's good enough for a first down.
Yeah, it's a tough situation there if you're an Indian fan, because you expected them to pass. They run a little hitch route right at the yard marker, and to be quite frank, he had a lot of space to be able to pitch and catch that ball.
Isaiah Myers on the catch and move the chains. 1st and 10 for visiting Colerain with 2:30 left to play here in this opening quarter. No score in the game of the year here in the GMC. They're in Fairfield territory, the Cardinals are. Johnson ducking in under center. Again, that Wiegand T look. And back to pass. He's flushed into the pocket, rolls to the right. Now we'll keep it. Out to the 40 and just short of the 40-yard line. They're going to mark him right at the 40, so a pickup of 4 on the play.
Yeah, another good decision right there by being able to break contain. And it's a situation, if you're a defensive end, try to ensure that he doesn't get outside the pocket. Make sure that he, if anything, he has to cut back up the middle where the rest of your defenders are. But another situation where you're staying on down and distance if you're a Cardinal fan.
Freddie Johnson on the year, rushing for 524 yards and a team-leading 8 touchdowns. He's a threat. Full house. And the give to the tailback, he's got a first down.
There was that dive. It's just it's a constant effort all night long to win the inside battles in the trenches. And if you're a Cardinal fan or if you're a Cardinal coach, you know it. If in order for your team to win, you're going to have to win that battle right up the middle.
Trying to see if that was number 3, and if that's the case, it was Deshawn Pace, who plays all 3 facets of the game. He's a return man, he's a defensive specialist in the backfield, and he's a running back. So it's 1st and 10 at the 33, and here comes Colerain with 1:44 left to go, and
nothing.
A loss on the play. Abdul Wahid snowed under for the loss. Jacob Sheriff, the safety for Fairfield Indians, on the tackle. So long drives to punctuate this first quarter. I mean, we saw a 13-play drive that ended up in a turnover to start things off for the Indians. And right now, coming up will be play number 9 with 2nd and 12.
Yeah, the bend but don't break philosophy, which isn't a bad philosophy. It's a question, though, whether or not one of these offenses can push through here. We'll see if the Cardinals can do so.
Pair of wides to the near side. And the quarterback pitching it back to the near side. Out to the 35 is the running back, and out to near the 30-yard line. And a good bit of running there. Turning something into nothing is Jalen Thomas, the home run threat on this Colerain team.
Yeah, the safety, Jacob Sheriff, right there, had an angle. Looked as if, though, he kind of twisted his ankle in pursuit, and he's a little bit of limping. But that being said, it looked as if he was going to be able to make the tackle in the backfield, but all will be not.
Thomas coming in, leading the team in yards rushing with 614, and not carrying it that much, maybe about just under 16% of the time for the Cardinals, 10.2 yards per carry. The quarterback looking to throw.
Oh,
Now he's got an alley out to the 30, to the 35, cuts back to the 20, and is pinwheeled out of the 19-yard line, but moved the chains on a pickup of 12.
Yeah, that's going to finish the quarter more than likely. But that being said, that was a design run all the way. There was not a receiver to throw to, but what they did do was put a one-on-one, mano-a-mano running situation there with the cornerback and the quarterback, and anytime you got to tackle somebody in open space, it's tough.
Well, that is the end of one very quick quarter. We are shut out on both sides so far through the first 12 minutes. It's Colerain nothing and Fairfield nothing. This is the game of the week here on Chatterbox Live. We're just about set to go with quarter number 2 here in Fairfield. We are scoreless between the Indians and the Cardinals. Along with Trace Fowler, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us. It's the game of the week here on Chatterbox Live, or if you will, the game of the year.
Yeah, well, without question in this league. I think it's a situation, though, where now if you're Fairfield, just hold them to 3 and make sure that the last thing you want to have happen is you have a long, successful drive that you had one bad play and you turned it over and you give it over to the Colerain Cardinals, who's won this league for a very, very long time, and then they turn around and they have a long drive and punch it in for 6. Just bend right here, but don't break.
Freddie Johnson's the quarterback. And Jalen Thomas will take it actually out of the Wildcat and gain a few on that one. Jalen Thomas, 6 foot tall, 190-pound senior, as we have mentioned, the home run threat on this team. He's also the team's leading receiver.
Does it all.
Well, him and Pace, young Mr. Pace has been impressive. I think he had an 85-yard punt return earlier this year for a touchdown. Just underway here in quarter number 2, scoreless here in Fairfield. Quarterback keeping it, coming off the left side, and
the ball's out.
Fumble. The ball is out.
I think Colerain got back on an offensive lineman. Got very, very fortunate right there if you're a Cardinals. The thing bounced right off the turf and right into your offensive lineman's hands in a situation where we almost had 2 turnovers after incredibly long, successful drive. So a huge 3rd and 6 right here. One that we might circle when we finish this game.
And the student section coming alive. They were alive for your
3rd and 3, excuse me.
They were alive for your pregame chat.
Yeah, they were
this afternoon.
They were ready.
Tight formation. Quarterback ducking in under center. They're coming in, and they're going to sack the quarterback all the way back to the 22-yard line. Fairfield was ready up the middle for that one.
Yeah, and an unfortunate circumstance there for the Cardinals because the snap wasn't clean. It took them a second to get a hold of it, and by that time it was too late, and the Indians brought a whole lot of pressure. And I'll tell you what, those kicks in pregame, if you thought those were nervous, these are a little more nervous at this point. This ain't kicking in your backyard. Right into the teeth of the student section.
Well, we'll see if we get our first score here. Ball's at the 15. Ball spotted at the 22. Kick is away and good. And first blood drawn by Colerain in this one. 3-0. Lawson Sandusky on the field goal from 32 yards out. And with 9:53 left to play in this half, in a first half that's gone very quickly, that field goal caps off a 14-play drive. And I'm trying to do some quick math right on the top of my head here. That's the thing about moving clocks here. So if you add the 4:17 and then add 2:07 to that, well, that's just a lot of time. 6 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, better math major than I am, I'll tell you that. But I'll say this, if you're the Indians here, the first thing that you need to do is just pick up 1 first down. You know, the last thing that you could possibly do to your defense that's been out there for what seems like an eternity already is to have a 3-and-out and give it right back over. That can work in your favor if you're a triple option team and work right against you if not. You know, if your offense is struggling from a triple option standpoint, your defense has a chance to be out there for quite some time. But when it's going well, your defense gets a lot of rest.
Trying to see if that's 3 or 9 for Fairfield as a deep return man. If it's 3, it's Corey Smith, but if it's 9, it's Jaton McClain. And it's a pinwheeling kick. The deep man, no, actually one of the up men at the 15, coming back to the 20, 25, cuts back to the 30. And the ball's out again. And Colerain saying that they have it. They do.
Wow. Wow, situation where 2 possessions for the Indians turn into 2 turnovers, and whenever you're trying to knock off a team that's won this league for 19 years in a row, this is the last thing you could possibly do. But that being said, again, the one thing that the defense did last time for the Indians that you can hold your hat on is they gave up 3. I told you before, the last thing you want to do is give up 6 in that situation. Again, here where you got to be begging your defense if you're an Indians fan, just one more stop and give our offense a chance to retaliate.
Colerain's in Fat City. They have the ball at the Fairfield 37-yard line, so a short field to get started with this second drive for Colerain. It's amazing. We are deep here in this second quarter. Fairfield has yet to get a second drive in this ball game. So a tight formation. They motion Deshawn Pace and 23 Brian Beavers to the left, and the give up the middle, a fullback dive across the 35, and a big push by Colerain for a gain of 2. So Abdul Wahid picks up 2 on the play to bring up second down.
Yeah, that was a valiant 2. I mean, it was a situation where he got hit at the line and found a way to toss and turn for 2 yards, and a big down here for the Indians. See if they can't force perhaps the Colerain Cardinals to do something they don't like to do and throw on third down.
Second down and 8. Ball spotted at the near hash mark on the 35-yard line. Quarterback ducks in, and the give, Abdul Wahid, and a good push there initially. And the ball came out at the end, but I think they whistled a play dead. And Fairfield saying that they have it. We'll see if they...
I think they're going to blow it dead.
I think they're going to call it dead. Out at the 33-yard line. The ball came out incredibly late. Everybody got excited. We couldn't help it because Fairfield was pointing out to the next direction there, but it will stay. Or actually...
Yeah, he's trying to tell the players to stay away, and unfortunately he's motioning as if it was for an Indian takeaway. But they're going to call it. They're going to call it third down, and what seems rightfully so because the ball did come out incredibly late. But again, a situation where a third down and long, and you're forcing a team that doesn't throw the ball a whole heck of a lot into a passing down. We'll see if they don't perhaps dial up the play they did before, which was a hitch on the outside. And if you're the Cardinals, you got 2 options. You can drop back 8, or you can try to bring the house and force some pressure into an early throw.
L.J. France, who's the big man at defensive tackle, waving for the crowd to get loud. Quarterback looking, throwing, it is knocked away. Intended out there for Sandusky.
Yeah, that was like I said before, Jacob Sheriff made a play on the ball earlier, and it looked like he was going to have a tackle for loss and got tripped up by the turf monster. This time he kind of seen that route on film before because it looked as if he was the receiver instead of the defensive back. But nonetheless, kind of in no man's land here for the Cardinals, and it looks like they will decide to punt.
Well, the ball's at the 34. It's hard to imagine anybody with a strong enough leg here to be able to kick a 51-yarder. But with that being said, I don't know why you wouldn't go for it here maybe in this case.
I think you might be able to pin them down. Looks like they're going to maybe take a timeout and talk about it. But one situation I think that I hate to bring up is the last thing you want to do here is perhaps take a chance on a fair catch that's going to have a bunch of men coming down on you. And I'd hate to see them perhaps turn it over again. But I'm almost, as the way this game has gone for the Indians to start, it's almost as if just let that thing die where it dies and let's get this offense back on the field.
Absolutely. They haven't been on the field for a little while. The punter will be Lawson Sandusky, we've called his name quite a bit so far here in this first half, averaging about 35.5 yards per punt. He's buried the punt, inside the 20 8 times this year, and when you consider high school offenses, that's actually pretty impressive.
Well, if he buries it inside the 20 this time,
it could be 14 yards, right?
I think he would agree it wouldn't be too impressive. So hopefully he hits it inside the 20 this time. But Inside the 10's another thing, but it looks like they're bringing the offense back on the field.
They're going to go for it. So here's Johnson under center. Jalen Thomas behind him.
Be careful not to jump off sides here.
This could be the freeze play.
Yep. Nope.
And now the quarterback flushed down the pocket and sacked back at the 46-yard
Ball's out.
line.
Ball's out. The bag's down.
And the quarterback recovering it at his own 45-yard line. But a big loss on the play, and Fairfield will take over.
Yeah, just what you dialed up if you're a Fairfield Indian fan. The last thing you want to do, though, is to run backwards and give up as much field position as you did, because if you go for it there and you're thinking worst case scenario, if you're cut right, you'll have the ball there at about the 35-yard line. Turns out they're going to get it right around the almost the 45, right at the 43. 10 extra yards with the sack, and we'll see if this Indian offense can't get it stirring up here now.
And we'll see if McLean gets to make a deep impact in this game. Trips to the near side, a single to the far side. McLean's in the backfield. And he gets it off left tackle, and Colerain up to the task, and no gain on the play.
Well, a situation there where the Indians had, three outside right there, and there was only one defensive back covering the two and one linebacker that was shading that way. Wouldn't be surprised if they come back to that a little later on, throw a little screen pass over there, like a little bubble screen, and use that to their advantage. Because Colerain obviously is very, very, very much putting their defensive players inside of a box and trying to stop the run.
Twins to the far side. Single wide receiver to the near side. And they motion Mays. Mays is the ball carrier, coming left side out to the 45 and out to the 48-yard line. So a nice pickup of nearly 5 on the play to bring up third down.
23, Brian Beavers, and number 11, Elijah Ford.
The way this game's gone, it almost feels like a pivotal, a must-get first down. And even though we're only 7:05 in the second quarter here, and it's only a 3-point game, it just seems as if Fairfield has not been able to kind of get it going, and a lot of that is due to the fact they turned the ball over twice, obviously. But your defense at some point has to get tired, right?
Absolutely. Third, and then we'll call it 6 at the 48-yard line. McLean behind Ellis, a long count.
Yeah, they're bringing the blitz.
And then now here comes McLean up the middle. He's got the first down out to the 40 to the 38-yard line. They needed 6. They got a bunch more. Pick up a 14.
It'll be first and 10 for the Indians.
Yeah, and that's a situation where we got a man down. I'm trying to get the number there, but nonetheless, a situation for the Indians where most teams would consider that a throwing down. But when you got your Tom McLean, I think any down's a running down.
I think I heard that it was McLean that's down.
That's the last thing anybody wants.
Well, McLean's been the story of the year in the entire GMC. I mean, I think the big stat that struck out to me is he scored 21 touchdowns on the ground. The average touchdown length this year from Deshawn McLean is 42.5 yards.
It's almost laughable. I had told everybody there during the pregame show, we'd sit around the office and we'd always say, well, if Jutan didn't break this 85-yarder or if he didn't break this 70-yarder, and then by week 4 we were like, well, I think this is just par for the course at this point. So as it's a little bit of a somber moment here, and hopefully he's okay.
6:29 left to play here in this opening half. 3-0 in favor of Colerain. And coming into this ball game, McLean had been better than multiple teams in the GMC in terms of yards rushing. So he had 1737 coming on in. Mason has 985. Sycamore 991. Oak Hills at 1131, and he's being helped up, and at least even though he's getting some help, at least he'll be able to walk off. Middletown at 1189. Hamilton at 1483. And Lakota West at 1592. And this could be a big loss for Fairfield if McLean's unable to come back into this one.
Yeah, he basically has outrushed over half of the GMC.
Averaging 193 yards rushing per ball game. By the way, and while we still have a moment, his October numbers are even more impressive. He's over 200 yards rushing in the month of October per game.
And he got off to a slow start.
Yes. Or the fact that we're now on November 1st is a problem. So 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. Fly sweep coming near side. It's Mays. Cuts inside to the 35, out to the 32-yard line. And he's going to have to be the big impact guy on this offense for the next few minutes.
Yeah, next man up. I mean, you can't feel sorry for yourselves if you're anybody on the sideline wearing red right now. A situation where you hope he comes back in without question. He's obviously you're perhaps arguably without question your best talent, but there's some more pieces to this offense than just Jutan.
Mays is 5'11", 170 pounds. He's a junior on this team. 2nd and 4. And again, Mays gets the ball, trips forward. I think he might have hit his own man as he fell forward out inside the 31-yard line to bring in 3rd and manageable. Elijah Ford cleaned him up on the tackling from Colerain. And again, 3rd, we'll call it 2 with 5:25 left to play here in this opening half. 3-0 Colerain. A full house tonight here in Fairfield.
Yeah, I think it's 2-down territory here if you're the Indians, so keep that in mind.
Mays is a flanker to the right. They motion the tight end to the left.
Offsides.
And then offsides.
Yep.
So we're talking about getting a first down the easy way here for Fairfield.
Against Colerain. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Indians.
So we're under 5 minutes left to go in a very fast-moving first half. 3-0 Colerain with the lead. Looking down towards the sideline here, and John McClain's getting taken care of right as we speak. Ellis throwing near side, caught at the 20, and the receiver taking it out of bounds inside the 20, out to the 17-yard line. Deshawn Simpkins, the senior wide receiver on the catch.
Knocked out of bounds by number 10, Sean Williamson.
Yeah, nice
Sean
little,
Williamson, beg your pardon, go ahead.
I was going to say, nice little easy throw there for Swire. The last time he threw the ball, obviously, is a big turnover. It's a situation where you want to get him comfortable again, and that's just a nice little easy out route, and the soft coverage by the Cardinals allowed it to be completed. So, again, this Cardinal defense changes when they get inside the 20s. We'll see if the Indians can break it.
Pickup of 7. Ellis is highly efficient. Over 70% passing. He'll keep it off left side, out to the 10, to the 5, and out of bounds. 1st and goal coming up.
Number 2, Sly Ellis keeps it.
Sawaya Ellis on the carry to give him a first down. 6'2", 195-pound senior heading to Toledo as a defensive back. He's a quarterback on this team to bring up 1st and goal.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Indians.
You know, as dire as this half has seemed for the Indians, there's a very good chance that they're going to take the lead with about 4 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the half, which is just shows you how good of a team they are.
Phil Thomas is the tailback to the right of Ellis. And the give to Thomas coming off of... No, it's the quarterback keeping it. And Ellis at the goal line. Is he in? He is short.
They didn't blow it dead. They didn't blow it dead.
Now he's pushing it forward. And is it a touchdown now?
Well,
the near side judge is calling it a touchdown.
Is he? I don't think they know. They're going to say stop, but usually when you blow a play dead, you kind of wave your arms in the air to let everybody know that was the forward progress had stopped. That wasn't the case. It looked as if he was running in, and they hadn't blown the play dead. So by all counts, it looked as if he got pushed in at the very end. But nonetheless, 2nd and goal at the 1. You'll take it if you're the Indians.
So after some indecision, and we have a sideline warning against Colerain. 3:43 left to play here in this first half. 3-0 Cardinals with the lead for now. Trips to the far side as they break the huddle. Thomas in the backfield, and Ellis coming in under center. He'll push forth to the goal line. Is he in this time?
I think he's just short.
He is just short.
Sly Ellis keeps it.
Well, now you're in a tricky situation. You know, you've tried to run up the middle twice, and the first time you got some good yardage, but looks like they might hurry up and go again.
Ellis Pushing forth again. And is he in this time? He is! Touchdown! 6-3 Fairfield. On the 1-yard plunge on the 12th play of the drive for Fairfield.
Third time's the charm there for the Indians. My gosh, it seemed as if they couldn't get any push. They decided to hurry up there and catch the Cardinals off guard. It certainly worked out. And as I just mentioned, I was a little off on the time, but the idea of this entire half seeming as if it was going the Cardinals' way the entire time, the Indians just bounced right back.
And they'll go for 2.
I think this is just a little, what do we got? A little trickery here. Don't let them trick you, Jeff. They just line up to the side, and then they're going to come over here and kick it.
And they will. Nick Matty is the kicker. So they break out of the huddle into a traditional format. Here's the point after attempt, and she is through with 3:02 left to play in this first half. We have a brand new score. The Fairfield Indians own a 7-3 lead over the Colerain Cardinals. 3:02 left to play here in this opening half. 7-3 in favor of Fairfield. This is the game of the year here on Chatterbox Live. Along with Trace Fowler, I'm Geoff Kim. Glad to have you along for week number 10 of the high school football season, a precursor to what's to come here for the playoffs. Obviously, both teams, or actually at least for sure, Fairfield will have a home game coming on up here for week 11. And Colerain with a win will guarantee that for themselves at this point.
Well, it's a situation where these teams might become familiar with themselves tonight, but it looks like, you know, if the Indians were to be able to win tonight, it's a second-round matchup perhaps for the Indians and the Cardinals. So we'll see, though. I'm pretty sure that their sights aren't set on that right now.
Nick Matty to kick from his own 40, and it's a spiraling end-over-end kick, actually, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback. Last touchdown drive, by the way, took 5 minutes and 5 seconds, 12 plays, 57 yards. It's the 1-yard Ellis plunge for the score. That's his 9th rushing touchdown of the year. Point after is good. 7-3 in favor of Fairfield.
You know, I don't know if you listen to Reed Mouse much, but he has this saying that is obviously a complete joke. But he'd be saying, I'm going to tell you what he'd say right now. He said he'd say the Indians would have to get rid of Deshawn McClain so they could do some real winning. Yeah. But that's just a shout out for Reed, who's doing a good job. He's out there braving the cold a little bit tonight, doing a good job for us. But here we go. See if the Colerain Cardinals can keep it up on offense.
Johnson pitching it out to the tailback across the line of scrimmage and pushed out of bounds at the 22-yard line, and great pursuit for the Fairfield Indians on defense. So the front seven for Fairfield has been spectacular tonight. They've answered any doubt so far here in the first nearly 22 minutes.
Yeah, there's a reason that they obviously, you know, some people say, well, they're statistically the best defense in the league. Well, if you're statistically the best defense in the league, let's just say you're the best defense in the league, and they're proving it so far tonight.
Here's the fly sweep coming to the near side. Deshawn Pace stacked up for a loss. Chased down first by Diallo McIntosh.
Yeah, you can just see the speed and the pursuit of these Indians on defense is obviously a little superior than a lot of teams that we've watched or witnessed this year. But again, I keep talking about that fullback dive, or the dive, if you will. It's going to be a situation where you have got to have some success there so those sweeps can work.
3rd and 9. They're going to officially call it no gain on the last play. A pair of wideouts to the far side, and the quarterback under center. And he'll give up the middle, and not enough for the first down. A pickup of 4. Abdul Wahid with the pickup, and it'll be 3 and out, we presume. Hard to imagine that they would do anything showing any trickery here with 1:38 left on the clock.
No, I think that Cartwright has no choice, but he's going to have to punt it down here and hopefully keep the Cardinals keep the Indians out of the end zone and keep it at 7-3 heading into half.
Well, we'll see if Fairfield can answer with a quick strike here and go up by 2 scores. They own a 7-3 lead here in the closing minutes of this quick-moving first half.
Maybe one of the quickest halves we've been a part of all year.
And that's it's a welcome relief, I think, right? I mean, it's like I mean, it's funny because as you and I talk through this, we've seen our fair share of 40-minute quarters.
Yeah,
and,
a lot of flags sometimes. Some weeks there's a lot of flags. Some weeks you don't know which team's trying to win, and some weeks you do. But this is one of those weeks where we don't have to worry about that, and it's going to be a situation where you have to be incredibly optimistic if you're an Indian fan. You turn the ball over twice, and you find yourself with the lead, and your defense has shown that they have been able to stop the Cardinals tonight.
Mays and Thomas out at their own 44-yard line for Fairfield to return the punt. Rugby-style kick. It's a low squibber out at the 45, and they're just going to let it go. Out at the 44-yard line, so they had the punt very well measured. 31 on the punt, nothing on the return. And with 1:28 left to go, we'll see if there's a 2-minute offense here for Fairfield.
I'll tell you what, if you're an Indian fan right there, there's a little bit of nervousness. It seemed as if a situation where the ball hits the ground on a punt, you try to get away from it, and that just didn't seem like the case there. But nonetheless, good field position to end the half.
And guess who's back in the ball game? Mr. McLean, one of the front runners for Mr. Football in the state of Ohio. 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. Ellis calling for it. Mays will get it on a fly sweep to the right. Cuts back inside to the midfield stripe. And just across to the 49-yard line, a pickup of 6.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on that clock as you hurry up here. But a situation where the clock does stop when you move the chains, but it's inevitable here to start to have to look at it.
Pair of wingbacks, and now they motion Mays into a slot to the left. Under a minute to play here in this first half. The give, McLean trying to push his way. Now breaks a tackle and close to a first down. L.T. Johnson, the first man to tackle him, but he's just short of the first down at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, I think a situation here where are you satisfied with going in the half at 7-3?
I think back to the game that we did between Harrison and Little Miami, but I don't think this offense is built the same way. Trips to the near side. Ellis calls for it, looking. It's a screen, and Mays gets knocked down hard for a loss. A big-time tackle by Ken Willis.
That'll take you into the half. It almost seemed as if they were just satisfied with going in the half. Up 7-3, didn't really make much of an effort to push the ball downfield, and looked as if Colerain, did they decide they want to take a timeout before the half?
Well, we've got some indecision out there on the field. We got 000s showing on the scoreboard. The home team, Fairfield, is matriculating out to their locker room, and I think we're going to call it good.
Yep.
So we are at the end of a fast-moving half here in Fairfield. The Indians own a 7-3 lead over the Colerain Cardinals. This is the game of the year here on Chatterbox Live. Both teams getting back out on the field, ready for the second half. Colerain got the scoring started with 9:53 left to play here in this first quarter, actually in the first half. They got a field goal of 33 yards. I'm trying to see who that was. Lawson Sandusky had the 33-yarder, and then it was the 1-yard Ellis plunge with 3:02 left in the half. Extra point was good, and we have our 7-3 ball game. So Colerain will receive to start off half number 2. And here's the kick. End over end. Sailing into the end zone and watching it go out is Sean Williamson, touchback. So Colerain will get the ball to start off half number 2. Down 7-3 to the number 1 team in the GMC, the Fairfield Indians. When we say the number 1 team, the Indians are leading both in offense and in defense, only allowing
and in the region.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. You pick your poison there. But at the end of the day, it's, again, we're talking about being able to stifle this defense. That dive has to come into play at some point.
And we'll see if they made the adjustment at halftime. Here's a dive play and nowhere to go. Fairfield wise to it.
It's going to be a long night if you're a Cardinals fan, if you're not able to get that dive play to work, just based off the fact that that's the setup pitch, if you will. And if you're not able to kind of execute that, it allows you to kind of key in on other situations with your sweeps and your pitches. So
Weinberg stopping the quarterback on the keeper, 2nd and 10.
That's just a play they're going to have to execute at some point in the night in order to find any success on offense.
Just getting started here in quarter number 3, 7-3 in favor of the home team. The quarterback pitching it out, and here comes Fairfield, and they're wise to that one as well. A great stop by Jacob Sheriff out of his safety spot.
And again, talk about staying on schedule here. If you're a Cardinal coach and you're in another passing situation, and that's just not your bread and butter. So again, this Indians defense has just been incredibly impressive all night long, really, in a situation where they've been put in some bad predicaments, but they found themselves out of it, and here they find themselves only giving up 3.5 points in which they could have given up more.
Coming into this ball game, Fairfield giving up only 90 points. That's 10 a ball game. They are the best team in the league. And the give and initial stop, a push surge forward for Thomas as he pushes his way up towards the 25, but it's well short of the first down.
A 3 and out, just what you talked about at halftime. I'm sure you're going to come in and get a 3 and out, short field position for the Indians, and we'll see. I'm certain if we've seen Deshawn McClain there before the half, I'm expecting him to be out there after the half. So a good job again by this Indian defense.
So 3 and out as Phil Thomas. Actually, we see double safeties out there at the 45. Looks like Jaden Mays as well. Here's a rugby-style kick. And Thomas gets it at the 47, up the middle, across the 50, out to the 40-yard line and diving forward. And the ball might have come out at the end, but I think they're going to call him down at the 39-yard line.
That they are. And I thought that they were going to have good field position perhaps, but I didn't know they were going to get it on their own side of the 50. But again, here, if you're Coach Cross, do you take a chance on the outside perhaps to start this half off, or do you go to your bread and butter with Deshawn in the backfield?
Good question. 31 yards on the punt. And a good return for Thomas to set them up. 1st and 10 in Colerain territory out at the 40-yard line, a return of 15. Looking to see if McClain comes out. He is not. Thomas is the tailback in this formation to start things off. Here's the give. Thomas off right tackle across the 40, and after the good punt return, he gains 3 on the first run from scrimmage here in this second half.
Thomas, quick, shifty player out of the backfield, and again, we had talked about when Deshawn went down that there were other pieces. Thomas is one of those.
So Phil Thomas, who has seen yeoman's duty here in this ball game in relief of the star, averaging about 7.5 per carry this season. 2nd and 7, and here's the fly sweep. Mays coming, looking for the corner, cannot find it out at the 40-yard line. And a big push out there back by Donovan Owens. He got some help there by Michael Best Jr.
Yeah, there was a whole host of Cardinals. There wasn't nothing there on the sweep, and you're again in a situation where you got to throw. Now, I would say this: the Indians are a little better positioned to throw the ball than the Cardinals, but you never want to find yourself at 3rd and long as they are here.
See Caleb Sexton as a flanker to the right, trips to the right, in fact. See if they motion Mays into the package. They won't. And the quarterback stepping up, throwing home run ball down the near sideline. It's caught at the 3-yard line.
I said that they had the opportunity to throw the ball a little more than the Cardinals, and they just proved it right there. Deshawn Simpkins with a big catch there, right down to the 3-yard line. Is going to set up another 1st and goal for the Cardinals.
A pickup of 37 on the play. First and goal with 8:22 left to go here in this third. And Colerain knocking on the door. They're going to officially spot him at the 2-yard line. Thomas in the backfield with Ellis. We'll see if he gets his second. The give, Thomas off left tackle. There's a flag on the play as well as they held him to a loss. The stop by Deshawn Stewart, the defensive lineman for Colerain, 6'2", 245, a junior. It's a sideline warning against the home team. Everybody's getting all excited here in Fairfield at Alumni Stadium, a sold-out house. Capacity's at 4,400. I know that they had even more than that here on pre-sale tickets. Mays is split out to the far side. Simpkins to the near. Thomas in the backfield with Ellis. Second down and goal. The quarterback keeping it, trying to push his way up towards the 3-yard line.
Number 2, Ellis keeps it.
So Sawaya Ellis for minimal gain to bring up third and goal.
Seems as if when they get inside the 5, it becomes a little tough, you know. I mean, they move the ball, as we mentioned before, out there in the middle of the field. But, you know, we do a weekly show, a Big Blue show, and one thing that Coach Mahan brought up a lot, multiple weeks in a row is how this Cardinal defense does not break.
Third and goal from the 2, officially. Thomas in the backfield with Ellis. Ellis, hands, Thomas, wrapped up, actually the quarterback keeping it, and he's tackled what looks like a loss on the play.
Yeah, and you got to take the points here if you're Coach Krause, and you take a 2-score lead, because I think if anything, yeah, you've moved the ball on offense, and that's good and all, but your defense has proven that they're elite bunch. Just take any points you can possibly get, and then continue to add to that.
Nick Matty had a point after attempt that was good back in the first half. We'll see if he can tack on a field goal. It's a 20-yard attempt. Colerain looking to rush on in. Good snap. The kick is up and away and good. With 6:11 left to play here in this third quarter, a brand new score here in Fairfield. The Indians have a 10-3 lead over the Cardinals of Colerain. So Matty with a 20-yard field goal. That caps off a drive. 6 plays. The drive started at the Colerain 45. They took it all the way down initially to the 3-yard line before getting stalled, and that took 3 minutes and 40 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, a big pass play, obviously, that set up the drive, to set up points there from Sawaya Ellis. And again, I think that they're going to go back to that. They have the ability to throw the ball downfield. They're going to do so. The question becomes, though, on the other side of the ball, in my opinion, can the Colerain Cardinals establish any kind of threat inside the tackles and in the trenches, because so far tonight they have not been able to do so.
So a touchdown score here in Fairfield on the Matty 20-yarder. And Matty to kick it away, and a booming kick into the end zone for a touchback. I'll tell you what, that young man has a big leg.
That he does. He almost took Sean's head off there to start the show off, didn't he? What about that? I'll tell you, that was probably perhaps maybe the best save Reed's had in quite some time there, right off the top of his head. But for those that don't know, we did a little show for the game, and the specialist came out there kicking some field goals, and one of the field goal kicks, I believe, came off the foot a little differently and found its way to our set, and luckily it didn't catch him in the head. But nonetheless, here we go for the Cardinals.
Johnson coming in under center. It's an I formation, and the give. Here's the pitch to the tailback, out to the 25, to the 30, down to the 40. One man to beat, out to the 50, to the 40. He's on his feet to the 30, to the 20, to the 15-yard line.
Wow. Nothing between the tackles, but a pitch was the one that broke perhaps the backs of this Indians defense that's been strong all night long.
Was that Thomas? I tell you, but it's a gain of 66 on the play.
Looks like there is a flag, though, back here around the 35-yard marker. Yard line, I should say. I'm just going to pick that up. Nope.
Face mask. So they'll tack on some more. And just as quickly as Fairfield added to their score and got 3, that's how fast Colerain has moved down the field. First and goal at the 5 as they tack on the yardage at the end of the play. 5:45 left to go here in this third quarter. Fairfield playing close to the line. Johnson holds on to it, and he is stuck, and he is lucky to get
Ball's out.
And Fairfield has recovered at the 3-yard line.
Wow. They gave it right back. The Indians gave it away to start the game off, and just as you thought the Cardinals were going to come back, and I was going to mention there's a reason they've won this league for 19 straight years, going on their 20th. And as soon as I about brought that out of my mouth, they turned it over. So we'll see if this Indians offense with some field to gain here can't turn this around and get more points on the board.
Couldn't tell who that was, but it looked like Jacob Sheriff was right in the middle of all of that. So 5:31 left to play. The ball's at the 5-yard line. And a big bit of luck for Fairfield as they get the ball back with 5:31.
Big possession here. You got to get maybe a first down just to get yourselves out of your own end zone.
Ellis hands to the running back, pushing up the middle, out to the 25 to the 30-yard line.
That's one way.
So Ellis holding on to it instead of giving it up, and a gain of 25 to start off this drive.
That's certainly one way to get yourself out of the hole, is to fake the handoff and use the athleticism of Ellis. Going to play at the next level in college, but not a quarterback, defensive back more than likely, but nonetheless he shows you why there with the speed.
Officially a 23-yard gain as they mark his progress out to the 28-yard line. As we come up on the 5-minute mark, left to go here in this third quarter, 10-3 in favor of Fairfield. Ellis motioning Mays, now gives Thomas off left tackle, nowhere to go. Right into the heart of the defense, and the first man to meet him was Brian Beavers out of his linebacker spot.
Yeah, this Cardinal defense is starting to play a little more downhill and get in the backfield a little more often than they were in the first half. We'll see if they can't continue to do that again. You got to be careful putting so many people in the box. They can't hit you over the top as they did on the last drive.
So a loss officially on the play, 2nd and 11 out at the 27-yard line. Long huddle for Fairfield, trying to catch their breath here just a little bit. 2nd and 11. Thomas in the backfield with Ellis. And they motion Mays. It's a fly sweep to the right, looking for the corner, and shut down and dropped for a loss back to the 18-yard line.
Yeah, the past 2 times they've tried that fly sweep, the Cardinals were ready and they've contained the edge, and both times were for a loss. So we'll see if they put that back on the shelf for a while, and I expect them to go ahead and test this Cardinal defense downfield here soon, just based off the fact that they're putting 7-8 guys in the box.
They bring in Marquise Jones into the lineup for the home team, Colerain. And again, a long huddle looking in towards the sideline for the play. 4:03 frozen on the clock now, so we have a stoppage in play.
I think we're trying to figure out some
marching.
kind of penalty. I don't know.
Well, they are marching backwards.
Maybe not. I don't know. Phantom flag.
Well, we've had our fair share of those throughout the high school season.
Yeah, we have.
Still looking for a signal from referee Dan Hill on this one. None to be found. So 2nd and the Chatterbox Sports offices. 2nd and 25.
Yeah.
Ball's going to be at the 13-yard line. Fairfield needs to get to the 38 to move the chains. Ellis motioning a man. And
that's going to be.
It'll be to the running back, and it's to the newcomer. Well, they're going to call him down. So Marquise Jones had the ball, and they're going to call him down at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, a little tough to see up here, obviously, but it's starting to get chippy down there for sure, and that's what you expect in a game like this. I was waiting for this to happen. Waiting for the Colerain Cardinal defense to get a little fired up down there, and that, for whatever reason or whatever was said, that I can't tell exactly what they're trying to do there on the outside, but nonetheless, they are in a good position on 3rd and 28, to say the least. I expect them to kind of drop back and ensure they don't give up this first down on a broken play or busted play, I should say.
So Jones is going to be in the backfield, and we got a timeout. I think we got mass confusion everywhere. And with 2:41 left to play in this third quarter, still the 10-3 scored in favor of Fairfield, who has the number 1 seed in Region 4, as we had mentioned throughout the broadcast, that Colerain right now has the 4 seed. A win tonight goes a long way for them. In fact, if nothing else, you would imagine that they would maintain at least the 4th spot, if not move up and have a home game a week from now.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I think I said before, I don't know how much that actually means. I think that you look at the list of 1 through 4, and everybody is beatable. Looks as if there is a guy down on the side there, so hopefully he's okay. It looks as if he's cramping up for sure as they're rubbing the back of his calves there. But
well, it looks like a little bit of yoga out there, and if that's the case, that's a little bit of a cat pose, if I'm not mistaken. But one of the Indians down. So with 2:41 left to go here in this one, let's reset here. If in this one, the first score by Lawson Sandusky, a field goal of 33 yards with 9:53 left to go in the first half. 3-0 Colerain, and then the last 10 points have been scored by the home team. Ellis on a 1-yard plunge with 3:02 left to play in the first half. The extra point was good. And then Nick Natty with a 20-yard field goal with 6:11 left to go here in this third. That was good as well, and we have our 10-3 score. So you got to imagine it'll be an erstwhile screen here on this play. Twins to the near side. Ellis looking left. Now rolling, throwing it away out to the sideline, and it almost wasn't deep enough as Brandon Sinclair gave chase and nearly had it out on the sideline to come up with 4th down.
Yeah, good decision by Ellis there just to get rid of the ball and make sure they didn't get sacked. He was approaching the goal line there for a safety, but nonetheless, good job by the Cardinal defense, and they should have good field position here to try to negate the fumble that stopped their last drive.
2:35 frozen on the clock on the incompletion. 10-3 in favor of Fairfield. It has been a literal defensive struggle here in this one. Here's the catch. Fair catch called for out at the 45-yard line by Deshawn Pace on the low liner, and with 2:29 left to go, that's a punt of 35, nothing on the return. And Colerain will take over in Fairfield territory with 2:29 left to go here in this third.
That's all right. It was a good punt. Great punt. Surprised with the fair catch a little bit there, but it was perhaps a situation where you just wanted to make sure that the last thing you wanted to do was turn the ball over. Getting hit at the last second there, and thought he had a little bit of room to make a play, but I haven't caught too many punts in my day, so I'll let him be the judge.
High formation. The quarterback keeping it up the middle. He is a seaman. Now breaks back to the 30, to the 20, out to the 15, and inside the 15 goes Freddie Johnson.
Number 1, Freddie Johnson keeps it.
See where they officially spotted, but it's a pickup of at least 30.
Discount Tire, Hart Construction, Cardinal Motors, Chick-fil-A, and Wings and Rings.
The ball's at the 13-yard line, a 32-yard pickup with 2:20 left to go in this third. That left side opened wide up for Johnson as he initially thought about the pitch to the right. And we have another down Colerain Indian. I beg your pardon, Colerain Cardinal on the far side. I'll be all right. Baseball season just ended, and when you see Cardinals and Indians, you automatically want to think World Series.
What about the World Series?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What a finish there for the Nats.
Nationals got hot. What about the fact that they were facing basically the best closer in baseball in the wild card game? They came back and beat him, and then all of a sudden they went on an incredible run, and Nationals, first time in a long time for them.
Well, first time ever. They were initially the Montreal Expos, who were built in 1969 and then moved to Washington a decade and a half ago and became the Nats and won their first title this year in year number 51. So 2:20 as both teams come back on the field. On the heels of a huge run by Freddie Johnson to set up 1st and 10 in the red zone. Out at the 13-yard line. They go back to the wing tee. They motion a man, and now to the first back through, and he is stuck at the 13, and they're going to drop him maybe perhaps for a loss. He's trying to push forward, but might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Number 9, MJ Flowers.
So MJ Flowers seeing, I believe, his first carry of the ball game. Getting back to the 13-yard line, no gain with under 2 to play here in this third quarter. Back in the ball game is Hamza Abdul Wahid, who had been a primary fullback. Now they put him as a wingback, and now the quarterback rolling left and now keeping back to the line of scrimmage and knocked out on the sideline and a hard hit.
Let's make sure he's okay.
Not sure if Freddie Johnson caught the number on that Mack truck, but he got flattened.
Number 1, Freddie Johnson keeps it.
That he did in another 3rd and long behind the chains for the Cardinals. But you are in a position to get points. The last thing you want to do is force something right here and have another costly turnover.
Weinberg on the stop as we come up on 1 minute left to go here in this third. 10-3 in favor of Fairfield. Sold out crowd tonight here at Alumni Stadium. Standing room only beyond the 4,400. That is the capacity of this stadium. 3rd and 9. And the Wildcat keeping it is the running back up to the 5 and inside the 5. That should be a first down.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the spot, and they are going to mark a first down, so it's going to be 1st and goal from the 3.
Number 4, Phil Thomas with the stop.
Looks like Deshawn Pace with the carry. Thomas on the stop there. And 1st and goal coming up from the 3-yard line. Johnson calling for it. Now will come out to the right side. Diving for the goal line. Is he in? He is close. And the ball is, he's pushed back.
The Fairfield Indians think they have the ball, and the referees again seem stoneless. They're not sure, and they're going to signal 2nd down. 2nd down, excuse me. Oh, they got an injured player. That's what they're calling for.
So the ball came out late. Incredibly late when forward progress had been stopped, and I think we had seen this already in this ball game where when you see forward progress stopped, the officials in this ball game have been a little reticent to call, to put it to an end and put a whistle to it. So we do have 2nd and goal from the 1 coming on up. Trying to see who the injured party for the Cardinals are. Might have been 3, if that's the case. Deshawn Pace. The all-purpose threat for these Cardinals. 17 seconds left to go here in this third quarter. 10-7, 10-3 in favor of Fairfield. We'll take a timeout with the injury here. 17 seconds left to go here in this third. 10-3 in favor of Fairfield. This is the game of the week here on Chatterbox Live. We come back here at 2nd and goal from the 1. It'll be a full house look. A tank look here for visiting Colerain. Quarterback from under center. And he'll dive forth towards the goal line.
Looks like he got it.
He is in. Touchdown. From a yard out, Freddie Johnson answers back with 5 ticks of the clock left to go in this third. And Colerain's a point away from tying it up 10-9.
Well, did you expect anything different?
No.
I mean, at this point, you didn't expect the Cardinals to roll over by any means, and they showed why they are the Colerain Cardinals on that drive right there.
Sandusky on the point after. And the point after is good. Not Sandusky, Cameron Ott, beg your pardon. And we are tied at 10 all with 5 seconds left to go here in this third quarter. So, Trace, and given with the way things have gone in this ball game, this has led up to met and exceeded expectations. The fact that we are tied up just mere seconds away from the end of 3 periods.
Yeah, we couldn't have drawn it up any better. We got a good one last week. I'm hopeful that it includes the same drama as last week. You know, it'd be awfully nice for us. I'm sure that there's fans on both sides that would not like that pressure, would not like that to come down to the end like that. But when you're in our shoes, that's what you want.
That last drive took up 2 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock. 7 plays that culminated in the 1-yard touchdown plunge from Johnson, capping off a 45-yard drive. The extra point was good, and we're tied up with a brand new score at 10 apiece. It'll be Ott to kick away from his own 40. It bears mention that we haven't seen Deshawn McClain here in this third quarter. Marquise Jones is the deep man at his own 3-yard line for Fairfield. And it's a pinwheeling kick taken by one of the upmen at the 20. It's Mays out at the 25 to the 30. He has a seam to the 35 to the 40 to midfield. Comes back to the 40, down the side to the 31-yard line. And what a way to end this third quarter.
Wow. Just as you seemed as if one side took a punch, the other side takes one right back. Situation, we're heading to the fourth quarter, and it's anybody's game at this point. And you just got to expect at some point that guy's going to show up and number 9's going to make a play. We'll find out if he's got that left in the fourth quarter or not.
We'll find out in 12 short minutes. After 3, we're tied at 10. It's the game of the week here on Chatterbox Live. It's the game of the year here on Chatterbox Live. Along with Trace Fowler, I'm Geoff Kim. We're thankful that you've joined us here in what is turning out to be a classic in week number 10 of the regular season. The GMC championship on the line between Colerain and Fairfield. We're knotted at 10. And have mercy after that last kickoff return to start to end things here in the third quarter as we go to quarter number 4, and great field position for the Fairfield Indians.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, you just have to expect if he's in there. Obviously, he's a little hurt, banged up in Jeton, but he's not out there yet.
Thomas keeps his feet across the 30 out to the 27-yard line. So what could have been disastrous initially on the initial give ends up in a pickup of 4. So at this point, as we say things, left to go in the game as we keep track of a clock, I think it's safe to say that we're playing towards the end of regulation, the way this one has gone.
Predicting overtime?
Right now I am. Mays is a wing to the right. They motion him, and now they fake the give to him. The quarterback keeping it across the 25, and Ellis out to the 21-yard line.
Yeah, at this point, Swaya has had the one deep throw, but his biggest threat all night long has been his feet, and he showed why there. He's just quick, shifty, great athlete. You can easily see why, Division I prospect and a player that's going to play at the Division I level next year is perhaps going to play the defensive side of the ball because he has this athleticism.
He'll be a Toledo Rocket a year from now, majoring in, I believe, mechanical engineering. Ooh. So Ellis in the shotgun. Thomas, off right tackle, coming to the 20, inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. So a nice pickup of 5. Actually, it's McClain. So McClain's back in.
Number 4, Brandon Sinclair with an tackle.
So McClain had 33 yards in the first half before he was injured. He is back in for his first carry of this second half. So we come up on the 10-minute mark here of this regulation period. 10 apiece between the two teams. McClain to the right of Ellis. They motion Jones to the right, and now McClain off right tackle and up ahead across the 10 and down to the 9-yard line.
That was a good block by McLean and
Beg your pardon.
Kind of spring Sawaya Ellis a little bit there. And again, isn't it wild that they've moved the ball so well all the way up and down this field, and then it all seems like as soon as they get to that 10-yard line, it just changes.
It does. So, 1st and goal at the 9. We'll see if Ellis will get the touch here. They'll follow Ellis, and now the quarterback keeping it out to the 5-yard line, and he's met by a Colerain scrum. Still pushing forward inside the 5 to the 4.
Wow. Same exact play. Reminds me of I seen a kid that had a sign out there that said free NCAA football. I don't know if you've seen that, but we're hoping that's on the way back. That reminds me of playing little video games back then. You just keep running the same play until somebody stops it.
Ball's officially at the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal with 9:10 left to play. And we'll see if McLean continues to be the decoy here in this offensive set. Ellis on the long count. And now the give, McLean to the goal line! Is he in? He is short. A pickup of 2. Right on the shadow of the goal line. I mean, we're not even talking about 3rd and goal from the 1. We're talking about 3rd and goal from 3 inches out.
I'm surprised he didn't get in the way that he had fallen from where he was at, but we'll see if they can't punch it in right here.
And Ellis keeping it, going towards the goal line. Is he in? And a flag on the play. So it's a false start against Fairfield, and they're going to mark it back. Wow. So this place was about ready to explode on that touchdown, and they're going to leave disappointed here on 3rd down.
Wow. That's a situation where I'm pretty sure that if you're Jason Krause, you wish there was some pylon cams down there, because it seemed as if on that run by McLean, I'm not saying that he definitely didn't get in, but I'm not saying he didn't either, because just based off the fact that if you're falling forward from the 1-yard line, you would think that that would proceed to be a touchdown, but nonetheless they caught him short, and a false start leaves 3rd and 6.
8:07 left to play here in regulation. 10 all between the number 1 and number 2 teams in the GMC. The Indians of Colerain and the Indians of Fairfield and the Cardinals of Colerain. We'll get it right by the end of the game.
Yeah.
So a timeout charge to the home team as they want to get set up. So it's encouraging to see McLean back in this ball game, who had missed all of the 3rd quarter and has made his impact felt as a blocking back for Sawaya Ellis, coming off right tackle. So both teams back out on the field.
Yeah, and this is where Mays on the jet sweep might come into play, but we'll find out here.
Mays is lined up as a wing to the left. And now the quarterback keeping it. Ellis to the 3 to the 1. He is short.
This is the call of the game right here. Do you take the points and you try to leave it up to your defense, or do you try to take presumptively maybe the best back in the state for sure and go for it?
4th and goal at the 1 with 7:44 left to play in regulation. They're getting a signal. They're going. Or are they? Now they're coming back to the sideline. We got a timeout.
Wow.
So they want a little bit more time to figure out what they're going to do on 4th and 1. So let's set up a little scenario here. You do have the situation where McLean has been the decoy on this drive, and Ellis has been a primary ball carrier. However, Jeton is Jeton, Do you go with the home run hero, or do you keep it with Ellis, or do you go for points and try to get 3 and take the lead with 7:37 left?
It's just incredibly tough, because your defense has played so well. It almost just feels like if you give them the points, they might keep Colerain right where they're at. That being said, if it's up to me, it's hard to convince guys to go all offseason bust your tails all off season, and then you decide to kick a field goal at the 1 yard line with the GMC championship on the line. I'm just getting, I'm telling the big uglies, as they call them sometime, the offensive linemen, that this is your time to shine. Get us that 1 yard push, and let's get the 7.
And here we go. 4th and goal from the 1, and the Indians will go for it. And Alumni Stadium comes alive. Ellis has McClain in the backfield. Ellis pushing towards the goal line. He's not going to make it.
Ellis keeps it. Brought down. Colerain will take over.
It'll be a turnover on downs with 7:31 left to play in regulation.
Wow. They decided to go with the play that's been working all drive long. But is this one of the most mind-boggling things that I've seen in quite some time. It's like they move the ball all the way down the field and it gets inside the 10, and the Colerain Cardinals say, hey, it's time to step up, let's stop the run, and the next thing you know, we stop in the run. They've been picking up basically that dive has been there all game long, and it just evaporates with the 10-yard in. As somebody seemed to almost want to start singing into our crowd mic. What's that about?
1st and 10 from the 2-yard line for Freddie Johnson and company. And he'll keep off the right side. I don't know if he got back to the line of scrimmage.
I had mentioned, Jeff, that you take the points and you perhaps trust your defense. But the other side of the coin is if you don't get it, right, you're forcing that Colerain Cardinal offense to go all the way down the field. And if you do get a 3-and-out in this situation, you have to expect to get the ball back inside of the Cardinals' territory again. So we'll see if that defense steps up here.
MJ Flowers on the carry for basically nothing. Abdul Wahid motions into the backfield, and now he comes back to a wing to a left. Freddie Johnson under center. And now Abdul Wahid, and now they motion out to the right side, and, I don't know, is he a safety? No call!
Looks like they're marking him down at like the 2.
So they're calling forward progress when there was none to be had. If nothing else, this ball should have been at least no better than the 1-yard line.
Where is...
So Johnson on the carry on the keeper. What looked like a loss will be marked at the line of scrimmage. I don't know.
It's a wild league we play in. Leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. That's a and nonetheless, here it's 3rd and 10. You got to move on to the next play if you're the Cardinals.
Let's see.
Or excuse me, the Indians.
Let's see if the Indians bring the house on 3rd and 10. And ball carrier coming to the near side. Abdul Wahid stopped out at the 5-yard line. Beg your pardon, it's 2, Jalen Thomas. And then we have a down Indian at the end of the play. Diallo McIntosh, who was one of the first to get there, is a little slow in getting up.
Yeah, Antoine Hill made a good play right there. It almost looked like he was going to be able to break a tackle, and he was able to wrap him up there. And again, the Indians are going to get great field position here. You got to start looking at the clock as well at some point.
Number 17, Lawson Sandusky.
So they're going to put Sandusky back into the back end of his end zone, and if he mishandles this is a safety. And what a way this game would change if that happens. And it's a soccer-style kick out to the 35-yard line. And it's Thomas out to the 30. A flag on the play to the 25, to the 20, down the sideline to the 15. Spun out of bounds out towards the 10-yard line. But there's a flag on the play back at the 36-yard line.
Wow. Perhaps a block in the back?
So a 34-yard punt and a 26-yard return. And with 5:13 left, they're going to bring this one back. But if nothing else, good field position here for the Indians. They're going to push this ball all the way back to the 45-yard line. So the spot foul is at the 35, and they march it back 10.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit of an optimist here. If you're an Indian fan, what that allows you to do, though, is have a little more yardage to take up a little more of this clock if you're able to control the line of scrimmage and run the ball. So not all is lost on the penalty if you are able to control the line of scrimmage.
Here's Ellis looking right. Home run down the right side. It is caught at the 17-yard line. No, wave it off. Deshawn Simpkins almost came up with a circus catch down the sideline for 28, but out of bounds. I was wondering when they were going to unearth the home run, and that was a good spot. If nothing else, you got to think now that's going to loosen up that Colerain defense with 5:06 left.
Certainly. I mean, they're starting to, like I said, they're playing downhill. They're putting a lot of men in the box, and when that happens, you got one-on-one coverage on the outside, and he had a step or two, and he almost brought it down, but nonetheless, here's 2nd and 10.
McClain in the backfield with Ellis. They motion Mays. They give to McClain up towards the 41-yard line. A nice gain on 2nd down.
And this doesn't need to be said, but I'll say it anyway, is an incredibly pivotal down in this ball game. Do the Cardinals get a chance to get it back and have time to go down and score before the game's over? Or do the Indians pick up the first down and leave themselves with an opportunity to score as the time starts to dwindle here in this 4th quarter?
Well, play calling here on 3rd down is huge. 4:34 left to play in regulation, tied at 10 between Fairfield and Colerain. And we come alive again here at Alumni Stadium. Quarterback keeping off the left side, looking for a corner. None to be found as he's pushed out of bounds, well short of the first down. Out of the 42-yard line, looks like a loss of 1.
Number 2, Jalen
Thomas on the stop for Colerain.
Yeah, they keep going back to the play in which McClain is the lead back that is going to be the blocker, and that's why Ellis as the running back. When the running back runs, it's good because you do have an extra blocker, but that is an enormous call. Did they just call a personal foul?
The referee is Dan Hill.
Yes, they did. Oh, my goodness.
Well, I'd like to see who that was called on, and it was obviously on the far sideline, so late and maybe out of bounds on the tackle.
Yeah, I think perhaps a face mask is what the call ended up being. But nonetheless, 15 yards and an automatic first down.
Out at the 27-yard line, a new set of downs. McClain waiting. Here's a throw out to the far side and in and out of the hands of his receiver out at the 23. And another flag comes in from the secondary.
I hope they don't call that a late hit.
Intended for Simpkins, and we really wish we had the benefit of the referee having a field mic tonight.
Legal man downfield.
And it's an illegal man downfield for the home team. So you get a little and you give a little back.
Yeah. Well, if you're a situation where you thought you were going to be punting the football and face mask negated that. But again, you have to think that if McClain was healthy, he'd be getting the ball right now, and it just makes you think that how healthy is he. So.
Well, I think you bring up a great point, Trace, right? He's been a decoy since coming back into this ball game a drive ago. 4:14 on the clock.
They decided to decline the penalty, by the way.
Now,
2nd
this
and
is
10.
Weird. 2nd and 10. Well, they'd rather have the down, I guess. Here's the keep by the quarterback across the 25 and push backwards after that. And you got to have a whistle sometime. A little slow on the whistle after a gain of 1.
Yeah, and you can see McClain doing a little bit of a limp there as the handoff proceeded, so he's certainly not 100%. That being said, though, at some point I would just think that if you're Coach Krause, you might lean on a little bit of a Toby Keith. You know, you might not be good as you once was, but you're as good once as you ever was, and I expect him to at least get one opportunity out on the outside and let that adrenaline take over.
3:39 on the clock, 3rd and 9. Ball's on the far hash mark. They need to get to the 17-yard line. Ellis Giving, McLean, stacked up for a loss, back to the 30-yard line. Actually, they're going to give him forward progress out to the 28. So a loss of 2 on the play. And 4th down, and it's decision time for Jason Krause.
Unless you love a play on 4th and 12 here, I think that the yardage is relatively negligible in my point. So I think that I personally would go for it, but I could also see the proponent of if you can pin them inside the 5, you've seen what your defense has already done. But again,
we see McLean out there on 4th and 12.
Here we go.
Ellis calling for the ball, looking downfield, throwing home run down the far side. It is intercepted in the end zone. Return man coming back 10 to the 20, out to the sideline, out to the 30-yard line. This might as well have been a punt.
Yeah, and there is another flag thrown. I don't know if they're going to call a late hit here or what happened, but that is another pivotal call. 15 yards, set them up in good field position with 2:20 left. Another face mask.
Face mask against the Indians.
So tack on 15 and a great start here in this 4th quarter. What could be a 2-minute drive to cap off a season in which the Indians are denied an undefeated season.
Well, the one thing though that I have to be, you have to be cognizant of is that this Cardinal offense isn't truly built to move quickly, but they're going to have to here with 2:20 to get themselves in a position to score.
1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. We'll see what Freddie Johnson and his team can do. The give to the deep back, and runner taking it up forward out to the 40-yard line. Jalen Thomas still on his feet. They still didn't call a stoppage on that, and he picks up 2 more to pick up 7.
That was pure willpower there. Once he got hit around the 3 yards into the play, he pushed that pile of maybe 4 or 5 extra yards and sets up a 2nd and short. And I'm going to throw out a little proponent to you here. If it's 2nd and short, you're ahead of downs. Do you take a chance on a play action and perhaps try to go over the top?
And we'll see if Freddie Johnson does that. High formation look this time for Colerain. And the give to the quarterback giving and pitching it out to Thomas, and he is stopped short of the 1st down marker. Out towards the 43-yard line, might have gained 1 on the play.
This sets up a pivotal 3rd down. And again, you got to keep an eye on the clock because, even if you pick up this 1st down, you have to get yourself in field goal position. There's just not a whole lot of time left.
An Indian a little slow to get up.
Plays are now just $3 a sandwich.
And we got a stoppage in play with 1:27 left to go in regulation, tied up at 10.
As a reminder,
As you would expect a championship game to roll forward, this has lived up to advanced billing. We've been looking at this one for about a month.
Yeah.
And this one has not disappointed at all.
How many heavyweight fights have you you ordered the pay-per-view and you watch and you had a little distaste in your mouth after you watch it just because it didn't live up to the hype? This is not the case here tonight.
Jacob Sheriff coming out. He's windmilling his left arm. He came up a little gimpy, and that's why we have a stoppage in play here. With 1:27 left to play here in regulation, tied at 10. Fairfield again, 9-0 on the season, 7-0 in the GMC. The Colerain Cardinals are 8-1. They've won 7 in a row, and they're also 7-0 in conference. So 3rd and 2 as both teams matriculate back out onto the field. And now the traditional wing tee look for Colerain. No, actually it's the Wildcat, and the man taking it up across the 50, still pushing the pile out to the 45-yard line, 1st and 10. So Johnson on the shotgun look, pushing it up. They needed 2 on the play, and they got a whole lot more than that. 13 on the play.
Number 17, Phoenix Porter, also in there.
We come up on 1 minute left to go here in this regulation period. Tied at 10. Full house look for Colerain. And the give to the second man through, and still on his feet, out towards the 44-yard line. A loss on the play, it looks like, or maybe no gain.
We've got to take timeouts here at some point, and Colerain's going to decide to take one here.
MJ Flowers on the give with 48 seconds left to go, and we do have a timeout. Tied at 10 here in this contest, and we've got a doozy here in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were in sales, we'd have the easiest time selling this game. That's how good this one has been.
Well, without question. I mean, we talked about it before. How many times do you get a game like this when it all matters, when the game's on the line? And fortunately for us, you mentioned the World Series. That was certainly the case. We've had some Super Bowls of recent that I can think of that kind of lived up to the billing. And I mentioned boxing, but boxing's basically, I don't know. It doesn't exist a whole lot in this country anymore, it doesn't seem. But nonetheless, here we are, 48 seconds, 10-10. And if you're the Cardinals, I just think you have to make one opportunity down the field. You got to throw the ball because, I don't know, you're going to run out of time. You only have one timeout left. There's just not a whole lot of time left in this game. 48 seconds to move the ball. Basically, I'd say 20 yards to give yourself even a chance at a field goal here. So here we go.
Second down and 10 at the 44. They'll change the play at the line. Freddie Johnson, he has MJ Flowers behind him as the fullback. Long count with 5 on the play clock. They're going to have to hurry. And give to Flowers. No, they'll give on up to Abdul Wahid, and he moves out to the sideline, out to the 41-yard line, and is pushed out there.
And maybe more importantly, he was able to get out of bounds, which saved them a timeout. Anything short of the sticks at this point is going to have to basically force the Cardinals to take a timeout, but that's not going to be the case here as he was able to get out of bounds with 41 seconds left.
By the way, the long field goal this year for Cameron Ott, 43 yards. So if you want to think about this as we have a timeout, that would position Colerain at the 26-yard line of Fairfield for them to have like a realistic chance for Cameron Ott to possibly put this game on ice.
A lot of pressure on a field goal kicker, I'll tell you that. I mean, you want to talk about a kick with some magnitude to it, that would be it. So I just don't know if not saying I don't trust the kicker per se, but just getting them to the 26 to have them try a career long to win a game of this magnitude is not something that I would feel very confident in if I was a Cardinal fan or coach. But you're not really behind the yards at this point with the clock if you're able to pick up a first down, which they're going to have to do anyways in order to be able to extend this drive. The real question I have, which is wild, is that what happens if they get stuffed here? Do you take the punt? Do you decide to punt? Or perhaps do you go for it thinking that perhaps you're in no man's land, but then you're given Fairfield an opportunity perhaps to push the envelope? A punt would certainly seal it to go to overtime.
Both teams back on the field. Colerain needs the 35 to move the chains. Here's the Wildcat, and
got him tackle. You got to make a tackle.
Pushed him out of bounds. Well short of the first down, out to the 38-yard line. And a flag on the field as well.
I hope not. The last thing that we hope that happens here is a flag that really, perhaps either whether it's a personal foul, late hit, or something of that nature decides this game. I certainly hope that's not the case.
It's against Fairfield.
Yeah, and I think that just, in my opinion, Jeff, I'm not saying that it wasn't called for, but in this situation, in this magnitude, you have to make sure that it's absolutely warranted. Absolutely warranted, because what you're doing is you're deciding perhaps the outcome of the game with that call. I'm not saying you don't throw it. I'm just saying that you better be sure that it's that.
Well, let's see where they spot this ball. It's going to be at the 22-yard line. You're now officially in Cameron Ott's range.
Yeah, that's a huge call. And I certainly hope it doesn't become the story, but nonetheless, here we are, and penalties are part of the game, and we'll see if the Cardinals can't push this forward to give themselves another opportunity to kick a closer field goal.
36 seconds left to go. And the give, it looks like Flowers right into the line, right into the teeth of that Fairfield defense for maybe a yard.
Number 1, Freddie Johnson.
Beg your pardon, Ed Johnson on the keeper, as opposed to Flowers on the give. So second down coming up with 19 seconds left.
Yeah, this is the last play before they decide to kick the field goal in my eyes for sure.
Tight formation. Johnson gives, and it's Flowers out to the 20-yard line with 1 second left to play here in regulation and a timeout. Charge to Colerain.
Wow. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? Now, again, I had said, you know, I don't want that to become the story, but at the same time, the story will be how big of a kick this would be for Colerain to be able to notch off yet another GMC championship, 20 in a row, 1999.
So it's second down at the 20-yard line. This will be a 37-yard attempt. Cameron Ott is the man of the hour. This will be a 37-yard attempt.
No timeouts for the Indians, so you can't ice the kicker. Here we go.
Good snap, the place to hold. The kick is away. It is no good. We go to overtime.
Woo! Can you believe it?
Just outside the upright. And we go to overtime. This is madness here in Fairfield.
Oh, can you believe it? Now, forget the penalty at this point. We're playing overtime, and that's going to become the story of the game. But I was very, very concerned there for a moment that was going to become a big point of emphasis after this game was over, was that 15-yard penalty. Wiped that completely off the map now. It's a fresh start with a fresh set of downs. And I'll ask you, do you like the overtime format of college over perhaps a sudden death of the NFL?
I prefer the college rule.
All right, well, if you like the college rule, then you're going to like this rule.
Overtime here in Fairfield to decide who's going to win the GMC. Is it Fairfield at 9-0, 7-0 in the conference? Or is it Colerain, 8-1, with one loss to St. X in week 2? They've run off 7 in a row, all in conference. They are, again, 8-1. Something has to give. We have seen a little bit of everything except for maybe perhaps the big home run play.
Yeah, and we have not heard Deshawn McClain's name called in the end zone all night, which is shocking. Not because obviously we obviously know as to why. I mean, he got hurt, and that's a big part of it. But just the fact that if you had told me before the game started Deshawn McClain was going to go scoreless, I would have shaken my head and just said, well, the streak continues. That's not to be said. The Indians have played well all night, but you have to give the Cardinals of Colerain an immense amount of credit. They come on the road in a hostile environment and have just gone blow for blow all night long.
So while the officials are there, we've exchanged field goals in this game. We've also exchanged 1-yard plunges for touchdowns by each team's quarterbacks. That's how this game has been played, with gut punches throughout 15 rounds.
Well, I would also say we exchanged some turnovers when you felt like each team was going to go in for a score, and that's part of the game as well. So as evenly matched as you possibly could ask for so far tonight, and that's obviously why we got a 10-10 score. But we'll see if we can't get the kids out there to flip this coin.
If this means anything to you, and keeping in mind that this is just me as a personal anecdote. The last time I saw an overtime game in high school, 4 overtimes, Wayne and what used to be Springfield South. They have since combined with North High School to be one high school. Yep. This was 1998. That's the last time I've seen an overtime matchup in high school football. So this doesn't happen it's been a while. It's been a quick minute.
I had joked with the guys about how you've been talking about this game for, my gosh, what seems to be, 2 months. And it's like, we're going to go there, and I was just making the joke that perhaps it's going to be a 21-point blowout or something we didn't foresee on either side.
Right.
And we were going to leave just hanging our heads, wondering exactly, will you build this thing up for 2 months about how great it's going to be? And this is what we get, is just Christmas came early here in Fairfield for me.
Absolutely. So the captains are out at midfield. And it also bears mentioning, too, that it is senior night here in Fairfield. They're playing with a little extra gusto, and we did have the pep rally that we had broadcast here on Chatterbox Sports prior to the ball game, and the student section was truly into it from the moment they walked in the door at about 5:30 this afternoon.
Both teams will get a chance.
So both teams will get an opportunity to score.
Holding up number 1, Mason Blanchard.
That's a cool tribute right there. For those that don't know, Mason Blanchard is a kid that had a tough battle with cancer and lost his life, and this Indian bunch had dedicated this season to him, and what a season they've had here. And they honored him by taking that out there, and that's just cool and shows you what type of kids play in this game. Because oftentimes, you sit up here and you watch a full game and you forget these are, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids and how great they've played tonight. And it's been a clean game. I know there's been a couple penalties, but for the most part, there hasn't gotten out of hand. And immense amount of credit to both sides.
We saw Deshawn McClain point up the number 1 in honor of Mason Blanchard as he came off the sideline. So it'll be a defensive start for Fairfield out of the 20-yard line, and here comes Colerain with the first crack on offense, tied up at 10 apiece. Overtime number 1, we're going to call it. Wildcat look, and the runner taking it up to the 15 and across the 15 out to the 13-yard line. Deshawn Pace with a pickup of 7 on the play to bring up second down. Overtime here in Fairfield.
Yeah, it's wild that they've gone to that Wildcat a few times here tonight, and it looks as if they're going to do it again. They're going to keep Pace in the backfield.
Jalen Thomas is a single wide to the left. Now they'll motion him back to the line, and now Pace will take it up to the 10-yard line where he's awfully close to the first down. I think they'll give it to him as he's right on the line.
Going to set up first and goal.
Phoenix Porter on the stop for the Indians. Ball spotted just inside the 10-yard line. And the student section coming alive, trying to be the 12th man on the field for the Indians. The quarterback in under center. No, actually it's again the Wildcat, and taking it up to the 5-yard line is the runner again. I guess that's Pace once more.
Absolutely. Pace is having his way on the ground right now, and he's really pick your poison if you're the Indians. Do you want to try to load the box and perhaps get beat on a sweep? Or a little kind of like an out route over the middle or a slant over the middle? I personally am loading the box and daring Colerain to throw the football.
Second and goal. Ball's at the 5-yard line. Again, the Wildcat look. Deshawn Pace calling for it. He'll take it up the gut, out to the 2-yard line, maybe the 1. He is short of the goal line to bring up third down.
Well, this is going to set up an incredibly tough decision if you don't get in here. Do you basically go for the game? Because if you don't get in on 4th and inches or 4th and 1, you pretty much hand the game over to Fairfield. But I'm sure the Cardinals are hoping they don't have to make that decision.
Again, Pace in the Wildcat. Now he comes in under center. They load the line and movement on the line. We've got a flag on the play.
Yeah, it should be a false start, I believe.
It's encroachment.
I don't think so. They need to talk to the line judge on this side. I looked as if there was a little bit of a flinch in the backfield, but we'll see what they call. They are going to call an offsides.
So encroachment on the home team and move the ball half the distance just to the shadow of the goal line for Fairfield.
Yeah, and to be fair, we didn't really get chance to look at the far sideline. Perhaps there was encroachment before the flinch on the offensive side, but nonetheless, a big, big penalty.
Ball's just on the shadow of the goal line.
Perhaps another plunge.
You would imagine here in this scenario. Here's the plunge into the goal line. Is he in or is he short? Now the far side calls touchdown.
You got it.
One side judge called nothing and the other called touchdown. And now we've got a flag on the field as well. Some hurt feelings.
Yeah, I think that if again, I don't want to sit here and be the bearer of bad news, but I don't know the rule if you're able to accept it perhaps on the offensive possession, or if you have to accept it here where you just get half the distance to the goal. But nonetheless, let's hopefully let the kids decide it on the field and let that be the end of it.
Well, this game has been so hard fought that every inch does count. So
calling a delay a game.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Okay, I apologize. Unsportsmanlike conduct, which again, I wish I knew the rules better, but I don't know if they're able to accept that on the actual possession. We'll find out at the start of the Fairfield possession, I'm sure.
Right. So Pace with the touchdown and the point after coming up from Ott. Wow. So we've had a little bit of everything. Some drama here in overtime. 16-10 in favor of visiting Colerain. They have drawn first blood in this overtime matchup.
Needless to say, and I've seen games be decided in overtime this year off of PATs before. So these kicks are important.
Cameron Ott out of the hold of Tyler Prather.
It's blocked!
Ball's blocked! So 16-10, and a touchdown and an extra point can win it for Fairfield.
And the good news, if you do play defense first in overtime, is that you know what you need to get. The Indians will have 4-down territory from here on out.
So Fairfield, sensing destiny, is within their reach.
They're hoping so. But again, I got the question, and like I said, I don't know the rule. Is that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, is that applied after the PAT or on the PAT? Because that is pretty important.
Well, it would be really hard to see this game decided on an unsportsmanlike penalty and how it would extend.
It's like we're marking it at the 20, and here we go.
So Sawai Ellis is the quarterback. McLean is the tailback. And the give, McLean coming right side, finds a crease out to the 17-yard line. And a nice start for the Indians. Sawai Ellis looking towards the sideline, getting the play in. Colerain owns a 16-10 lead here in this first overtime period. And as you had mentioned, Trace, you can't take extra points for granted, even in a game like this.
But you're on schedule here if you're the Indians. Don't get too impatient here.
Ellis calls for it. Now we'll keep it up the middle and is stopped. He is stonewalled right at the line.
Looked as if it was a broken play. Ellis, a little bit of a fake handoff there. What seemed to be a jet sweep, and there was nobody sweeping. So sets up a 3rd down and 7. And again, I just make no mistake. I'm not here to say that throwing the ball is the first shot or the answer to this. But when you have as many Cardinals creeping down on the line of scrimmage as they do, at some point you gotta consider beating them over the top.
McClain is the deep back along there with Ellis. And now they look left. Ellis throwing screen to the right, and it's dropped at the 20-yard line. They had the screen set up and one more play to decide the GMC championship coming up. Intended for Simpkins, and he dropped it at the 20. So whatever play that you have, as we have a timeout in the field and we have a down Cardinal as well, whatever play that you go to here, it's got to be the one that you love the most in practice.
Yeah, just some unforced errors here, if you will. If you're the Indians, a botched play in which was supposed to be a sweep to the left and then a dropped screen pass that looked very promising. But again, you're not out of it. It's 4th and 8. And I think at some point you got to ask Deshawn, hey, Deshawn, is there any chance that perhaps you can give me one big play here and I can put you in the slot and you can beat a linebacker one-on-one coverage? But if you're the Cardinals, the question becomes, do you go against the grain here and do you play a zone defense? Do you drop some guys back expecting the pass? That's why they're down there and I'm up here and I don't have to make those decisions.
Colerain Cardinal is back up on his feet and walking off under his own power. Ken Willis. So 4th and 8 at the 18-yard line. They need the 10-yard line to continue this drive. A field goal does you no good here. It's got to be a touchdown to tie. It's got to be a touchdown and something extra, whether it's a 2-point, which you wouldn't go for, and an extra point, which you would go for upon a touchdown to win. So here we go.
Let's see what the Indians come out, and let's see if they do put Jutan in a slot, or looks as if he's going to be right next to Ellis in the backfield.
Here we go, and Colerain showing blitz. They motion Mays. They look left. They look. Home run for Simpkins, and it's in and out. And Colerain is
they threw a flag.
And now
they threw a flag.
A flag has come in late, and it's against Colerain. Fairfield has life.
Oh, my God. Is this game serious? Is this game serious?
And Ellis is having a hard time getting back up onto his feet. Oh, my goodness. I'm gonna give you a comparison on this one, Trace. If you hearken back to the 2003 Fiesta Bowl, Ohio State against Miami for the national championship. If you remember, there was a late flag on that one on 4th down, and we have a similar scenario tonight.
Yeah. I'm sure that the Miami Hurricanes would quickly remind you about that penalty, and I can promise you that the Colerain Cardinals, if they do not become victorious tonight, will remind you about that penalty as well. We'll see what they decide to. They still haven't made the call, have they? Or they finally are going to march this thing off?
They are. They're going to mark the ball. Half the distance to the goal to the 9 on the PI call. 1st and goal.
This is wild. This is just, what an incredible atmosphere. What an incredible game.
1st and goal. Got a single wide to the near side, and Mays to the top. Ellis calling for the ball. They motion jet sweep. It goes to Mays, stuttering and trying to get back, and it's a loss on the play, and a flag comes in at the end of it as well. A loss on the play if this holds up.
Looks like it's thrown in the area of holding, but face mask.
It's a face mask against the visiting Cardinals.
Wow, penalties have been a major story here tonight, have they not? And I'm just hopeful, perhaps, maybe it's just my pessimistic attitude with penalties. I just hope that we can see a clean finish to this thing.
They're going to spot the ball at the 6-yard line. So the face mask happened at the 12. It's a 15-yarder, so it's a half the distance to the goal line. So they'll spot the ball at the 6-yard line on the near hash mark. But the big deal is it'll be first down. So 4 cracks at the goal line for Fairfield.
Yeah, at this point, I know number 9's limping around. I get it. But I'm putting him right up the gut here in Jeton.
He's getting it out. First and goal from the 6. Ellis calling for it. Gives. Here's McLean into the line, out to the 5-yard line, and Colerain was up to the challenge.
That they were, and this is, again, I'm going to have to ask Coach Cutright what it is about their defense, but perhaps they just start to sniff that goal line, and their defensive linemen are able to start to get a better push. I don't know what it is. They get inside the 10 and everything changes. But, again, one thing to keep a notice of, they have one-on-one coverage on the outside, and they've thrown a hitch a little earlier in this game with some success. Would not surprise me here if they go back to that and force their hand at will, if you will, because, like I said, out here far right, one-on-one coverage.
And that's Simpkins on the near side. Second down. Here's the keeper by the quarterback into the line once more, out to the 5, just about the 5-yard line, so maybe a gain of 1. Well, I don't know if we're driving strategy here as we come up on third down that the dive play is your best play at this point.
Well, it's proved that the Cardinals have been able to stop it all night, and I know you've tried to go outside with Thomas a few times, and that hasn't worked either, so you have to start scratching your head at some point and trying to figure out what will work, what won't work. I was hoping that perhaps on second down, if you're an Indian fan, that you have 2 more downs beyond it because you know you're in 4-down territory. You would take a chance on the outside. But we'll see what they decide to do here on third and goal from the 5.
Twins to the far side, Simpkins and Mays in the slot. Here's the quarterback throwing, and it is coming to the near side, and McLean stopped at the 10 initially and pushed
Ball's out.
Ball's
out.
Quarterback
He picks it up.
He picks it up out to the 12-yard line. Oh, my goodness. The ball came out at the end of the play when forward motion looked like it was stopped. They called the fumble, and the quarterback keeping it. He had an initial alley, but he is stopped out at the 13-yard line. As if this game could get any crazier.
Yeah, the way this game gone, it wouldn't have surprised me if Ellis picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown, but here we are.
4th and goal, we've got a timeout. Charge to Fairfield.
And I appreciate that because I need it.
Well, I think everybody here in the stadium is going to sleep well tonight after the barn burner we've had. Unbelievable. 16-10 is your score here in the first overtime. Colerain scoring on a 1-yard plunge by Pace. The point after was no good. It was blocked. And it's 4th down. And it's one play. It's do or die time. You need the one play to go undefeated and win the GMC championship and end a 20-year run for Colerain.
Pending the point after.
Pointing the point after.
I can't stress that enough. I'll tell you, I've seen so many games come down to the fact that the extra point either sails wide or doesn't get up at all. But again, if you're the Cardinals on defense, I ask you the same question I asked you before. Do you perhaps play a zone defense prevent? You know they have to get in the end zone, so perhaps not as much pressure as last time with the one-on-one coverage on the outside. We'll see.
Twins to the near side. Here we go. 4th down. Here's Ellis rolling right, throwing right, and it is caught! It's caught!
No, it's incomplete!
It's incomplete! And Colerain has won the GMC.
Wow. Well, you couldn't ask for a better game, and just as you thought perhaps that the Fairfield Indians were going to find a way into the end zone, the Cardinals stood tall inside of the 10-yard line all night, and that was the difference.
16-10 in overtime. Colerain a winner. They improved to 9-1. They are a perfect 8-0 in conference. They are the GMC winners in 2019. Fairfield falls to a record of 9-1, 7-1 in conference. in overtime. What a finish.
Wild. But as we expected, when you got two programs as good as these, this is what you get. And this might not be the last time they play each other. So I think, although, yes, you go home and you're severely disappointed if you're either an Indian fan or an Indian player, but you have to hold your head up high based off the fact that you've played well enough all year to give yourself an opportunity to play deep in this postseason, and that's kind of what you have to hang your hat on. The opposite side is, Coach Cudwright, you just have to go into the locker room and be incredibly proud of your kids for holding up to this atmosphere, holding up to the penalties at the end and the situations that you were put in all night long. And really it just came down to the fact that, take nothing away from the Cardinals offense, but it was the defense that stood tall all night long and really was the difference.
16-10, Colerain a winner. The Cardinals are GMC champions. We'll take a short time out here and wrap this one up here. It's the game of the year here on Chatterbox Live. The Colerain Cardinals are GMC champions. They are well-deserved champions.
Yeah, they deserved it tonight. I mean, there's times when they've perhaps won this league and there wasn't much of a contest, and this wasn't one of those years. And you kind of feel for the Indians of Fairfield from the standpoint they have an incredible team, and take nothing away from the Cardinals. I don't mean this any slight to them at all, but when a kid of the caliber of Deshawn McClain gets hurt in the way that he did. Now, I know that he played, but it was clear and evident that obviously there was a little bit of a gimp to him. That affects things. But that being said, there's a reason that program has won the GMC since 1999, which I say that, and it's a head-scratcher.
There are kids in the stands who have never seen a Colerain loss in conference, which is, that's overstating it. I believe that they had one to Middletown back right around, 2010?
It depends on how young you were, but I'll say this. They certainly haven't seen a GMC championship.
That's very, very true in this case. An unbelievable finish in overtime. Deshawn Pace, who ran the Wildcat for the offense, plunged in for a 1-yard touchdown. Now, the point after was blocked, and Fairfield had a couple of opportunities thanks to penalties at the end of the ball game, but it was an incomplete pass in the corner of the end zone on the final play of the drive, the final play of the game, to seal the win for Colerain as they improved to 9-1 on the season, 8-0 in conference. It's a 9-1 season for Fairfield to wrap up the regular season, and 7-1 in conference. I can't help but say that it would have been a different game, perhaps like what you had mentioned in regards to a healthy Deshawn McClain, who was kept out of the end zone tonight. Which we did not expect, considering that he had been the front runner with 21 touchdowns all on the ground this year. For him to get in the end zone. And I think one of the things that I'll bear mentioning, the narrative in this game, Jason Krause selecting on 4th and goal not to go for a short field goal, instead to go for it and go with a touchdown lead instead of a field goal lead. And while it didn't end up in points on the other side for Colerain, it did elongate this game, and Colerain was able to hold out.
Yeah, to retroactively argue that point would be that they had pinned them inside the 1-yard line to start that drive, and if they were to kick the field goal, naturally perhaps Colerain was able to move the ball inside the 10 to 15-yard line with the same amount of yardage and kick the field goal to send us in overtime as well. So it's a catch-22. Like I said, I would have without question gone for it. You can't convince your kids all year long that when we need a yard the most, we're going to believe in you, and then turn around and kick it there, and then perhaps the Colerain Cardinals storm all the way down the field and win it with a touchdown. But that being said, just what a night. I mean, I'll probably remember it for a while, and I appreciate you coming along and being a part of this. And at the end of the day, this is what high school football and high school sports are all about.
Quick wrap up as we put this one to rest. Total yards in this ball game. This is about as close as you can possibly imagine, Trace. Fairfield had 58 plays for 218 yards. Colerain 46 plays for 211.
Yeah, it's evenly matched. It's maybe the biggest thing that sticks out to me. And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse in a situation like this, but Deshawn McClain, 19 yards was his longest rush, and I think this year he's proven that he's a home run hitter, and that just was a little bit of a difference. So, nonetheless, what a game.
What a finish. Deshawn Pace, the 1-yard plunge in overtime to seal the win, and the defense held fast to the very end. The Cardinals are GMC champions. Again, 9-1, their record to end things here in the regular season. And 9-1 to end the regular season as well for Fairfield. Just the one difference was the win-loss column for the conference record. Fairfield falls to 7-0. Colerain improves to 8-0. As we put a wrapper on this one, Trace, let's look briefly ahead real quickly to next week. This will shake up Region 4 for sure.
Yeah, certainly. I think that Sunday comes around, we'll figure out where everybody's at, but both these teams obviously plan to play at home, and my guess is they might play again. So if you're an Indian fan, like I said, you go home, you hang your hat on the fact that if you had to pick one time to beat the Cardinals, would you rather win tonight or would you rather in the playoffs? I'd suspect they'd say the playoffs. So perhaps that's the silver lining here. But nonetheless, it's just like I said, I keep reiterating this. This is high school sports. People ask me why I love sports. If you don't like sports, just watch this video. I mean, this is why people become addicted to sports, is because nights like this and atmospheres like this and games like this.
Again, the final here at Alumni Stadium in overtime. Colerain, the GMC champions, a winner, 16-10 over Fairfield. Both teams 9-1. Colerain 8-0 in conference, 7-1 the finish in conference for the Indians. We want to give thanks to our entire Chatterbox Live crew. They were wonderful from the pregame all the way through this game, and we had an epic tonight. We couldn't have asked for anything better here in this one.
Yeah, and I would say that the Fairfield students that helped us out tonight, that was a big help and appreciative. And we continue to go into these schools and meet journalism classes and meet media classes, and we continue to try to, give them field experience, and no better field experience than tonight.
Absolutely. Again, 16-10, the final. We head to the first round of the playoffs next week, and we'll get that to you during the week on the matchups. Colerain, the winner, they are GMC champions. For our entire Chatterbox Live crew, for Trace Fowler, I'm Geoff Kim. We bid you so long from Fairfield.